I'm going to do my best to do this, even though the house is kind of chaotic in the background. So Arizona's in Pittsburgh tonight. The Penguins have lost 2 in a row. Arizona's just what the doctor ordered. Or is it? The Coyotes are playing better. I expect Ronta to be in net tonight. In fact, you know what? Let's load up that page. Yeah, I should just trust my instincts on this one. So yeah, it is Ronta playing against Matt Murray. Unconfirmed Matt Murray. Doesn't really matter who's in net for Pittsburgh. It's a matter of do they want it. And we're into November, so if Pittsburgh wants to prove themselves, now is a really good time to start. And if they come out flat against Arizona, Arizona will beat them. Arizona's in a position where they've got like the worst record in the league, and they've just been awful, right? Well, they've lost a lot of games by 1 goal, and they've been close a lot. So, interesting winning and losing. For them, it's going to be a matter of getting off to a good start and how Pittsburgh answers it. So that'll be an interesting game tonight. Grubauer is starting for the Capitals against Leonard for Buffalo. So Grubauer had a bad start. His numbers have got better since the bad start, but they really couldn't get worse. So if Buffalo wants to get on track, start tonight. Buffalo has underachieved even by the standards of where I had them. And I think it'll get better for them. I think there's a lot of flack thrown at Eichel for some reason. I'm not sure why. Expectation that maybe he's gonna produce 120 points or what people expect from him, considering where he's drafted, and he was basically, is it going to be McDavid? Is it going to be Eichel? And I think that because he gets compared to McDavid a lot, people don't give him credit for how good he is. A game like tonight could be a good chance for him to show that he is much better than he's given credit for. The Islanders are at home to the Oilers. So, this is a matchup of the 83 and 84 Stanley Cup finalists. And in 83 it was won by the Islanders, and in 84 it was won by the Oilers. And tonight they meet up with, in net, Cam Talbot and Thomas Greiss. So, here's 2 goalies who going into the season were seen as the starters. And they've both underperformed compared to where they were supposed to be. And Edmonton has completely underperformed, whereas the Islanders have overcome their goaltending issues early on in the season, and they're in a playoff spot right now. So it'll be interesting to see where this game goes, because Edmonton looked like they turned a corner against Jersey, and then they made a hard right and went right back into the crapper against Detroit. So who knows? We'll see if they can get themselves back on track on the road. Florida and Carolina in a matchup of the we're going to get better teams. You know those teams that keep saying we're going to get better and then they don't. Florida teased it a couple of years ago, and then last year they blew it up. And it wasn't as much they blew up that locker room. It was that they messed around with coaching, and they messed around with GM, and they messed around with certain organizational parts. And I think they overachieved the one year they made the playoffs, so that raised the bar a little too high for what they had. And now we'll see where Florida is at the end of this year, but Carolina was supposed to be well ahead of them. So tonight you have Luongo against Darling. Those are both confirmed. And Luongo looks to make a victorious return to the league after some time off for injury. Oh, hey, he surrendered 5 goals on 44 shots against the Rangers on Saturday. That was his return. So tonight's the second game back. Luongo will be fine. Is he fine now? Probably not. Luongo is... This is the thing with Roberto. He has the Dan Cloutier syndrome, which is A, not wanting to admit when he's hurt, and B, probably coming back before he's ready because he's so competitive and so desperate to play. So this is a chance for Carolina to start to turn things around. We'll see if they do or they don't. That's weird too. I guess I didn't pay attention to that scoreline, that Luongo was already back. He has an .871 save percentage and two road starts this year. That's going to come up. I know Luongo's getting older. Well, he is older. But he's still better than an .871 save percentage. Nashville and Columbus. Neither of their goaltending starters are confirmed. But here's 2 teams that are on an interesting trajectory. So Nashville just picks up Kyle Turris. Nashville should be a lot better now. And down the middle, with a healthy Bonino, they are going to be just crazy good. Okay? Columbus is kind of in no man's land right now. Columbus has all kinds of reasons to be excited about where they're at and where they're going, and yet their last few games, the results haven't been great. And Columbus, blew the lead against the Rangers, and you could debate about whether referees handed it to the Rangers, whatever happened. But Columbus takes the loss. And tonight against Nashville's a good test for the Columbus Blue Jackets, in that Nashville should be coming in hot, and they should be coming in ready to prove that they're better with Turris, and with Turris as number 2 center, Nashville should be a lot better. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out. I wouldn't want to try betting on that one because, that's virtually impossible. St. Louis is in New Jersey, so New Jersey started to show some cracks. The Devils are likely to start Corey Schneider. They haven't confirmed that yet. Jake Allen starting for St. Louis because, of course, he is. This is a big game. You want Jake Allen to play all the big games. Not that Carter Hutton's not a good backup. He is, but Jake Allen should play all the big games. St. Louis is number 1 on my power rankings and has been and probably will be again on this coming Saturday, barring some kind of a falling apart that takes place starting tonight. See, the Devils come off of a road trip where they were, and there should rightfully be some question as to whether or not the Devils are starting to come down off that early start to the season where they looked fantastic. So St. Louis is the perfect test. This is a matchup between two teams that are absolutely higher up in the standings than anybody predicted, and we'll see if they can keep that up. I anticipate everything going to overtime tonight. I think we're getting to the part of the season where it feels like almost every game goes to overtime, and the teams are all so closely matched. So, speaking of closely matched, Maxime Lagacé is listed as likely, but he's playing. From everything that I heard last night watching Toronto-Vegas, Lagacé is well aware that he'll be playing in Montreal tonight. He'll be playing against Charlie Lindgren. Here's a matchup between two goalies that at the start of the year would not have been expected to be facing each other. Again, this is one of those, if you want to wager, just go to Vegas and say, I'm betting that Maxime Lagacé and Charlie Lindgren start games against each other this year. They start one against each other. Who wants to bet me on that? You're going to get a lot of money, because people are like, Lagacé, he's the number 4 for Vegas. You're insane. And Lindgren, the number 3 for Montreal. Are they starting in the East Coast League? No, NHL. Really? Yep. All right, I'll take that wager. So Vegas really came back from the dead last night against Toronto, and they showed that they will block any and every shot that the Maple Leafs take. And they're going to have to do that again tonight against a Montreal team that's really heating up offensively. And Lindgren looked really good in that shutout. Lindgren wants to prove he's better than Montoya, so that when Carey Price is healthy again, they go with Lindgren and waive Montoya. That's Lindgren's hope here. And he's got to know he has to play fantastic in order for it to happen. But it can happen. It has happened before where, the starter goes out, the number 3 guy comes in, outperforms the backup, and then the backup is gone. So we'll see if that happens here. But I anticipate a very good game, and it could be high scoring. The Canucks are against Calgary. After that loss at home against Detroit, I honestly, again, with the Canucks, it's funny. I never question their work ethic. I have no doubt about their work ethic. I have no doubt about their buying into the system that Travis Green is instating, and that they all buy in. And as hard as it is for the Sedins to be getting less ice time than they've ever had, other than maybe in their rookie year, this is a situation where everybody seems to be on the same page. The one guy that I do want to mention at the start, though, is Jake Virtanen. So Virtanen is on the same line with the Sedins. Well, when the Sedins don't get ice time, neither does Jake. So that's my concern, is that everybody, was all gung-ho about Jake before the season started, but I don't think Jake's getting enough ice time at this stage. So we're right back where we were last year. Virtanen's in the lineup. Is he getting enough ice time? Probably not for his development, no. So we'll see if that continues. And Calgary, they have Mike Smith playing. Markstrom's unconfirmed. This is all going to depend on whether or not Nilsson's able to show up after the birth of the baby, which I haven't heard anything about yet. There are no goalie details yet for Vancouver, so here's to hoping for Nilsson's baby. At the same time, it'd be nice to see Demko get a start if he's ready, but I don't think he's ready. Smith has shown some cracks for Calgary, but he's still playing better than Brian Elliott is in Philly, and he is a better option at this stage than the other goalies they could have gone with. So Smith's played well. I have a funny feeling that Calgary wins this game, and we'll start talking about, okay, so are Vancouver rebuilding still? Did they overachieve early? Yeah, probably. They probably overachieved early, but it's work ethic, and when you work hard, good things will happen for you. Unless you're Philly. Nothing good happens if you're Philly. The Kings are in Anaheim with Quick likely and Gibson confirmed. Gibson has not outperformed Miller. Miller's been great in the couple of games he's played so far for Anaheim. Gibson's numbers are middling, but I know Anaheim's play in general has been iffy. Tonight's a huge test. If the Ducks are going to get into the conversation for playoffs now, they need to win this game against the Kings, and they need for it to be a good, solid victory for them. It's not going to be easy because every time you turn around, the Ducks are dealing with injuries. Much like Minnesota in the Central, the Ducks are dealing with injuries, and they're big players. It's not like they're losing fringe guys. You know, for Getzlaf to be struggling with injuries, that's huge for the Ducks. Half their blue line being out at points this season has been huge. So I admire the fact they've been able to stay at 500, and it would, you know, even though I don't cheer for these guys, if they somehow won this game tonight, that would be inspirational for them and could lead to greater things for the rest of this week and beyond. The Kings, though, come in as the very likely winners tonight, and it'll be interesting to see who emerges victorious. So let me know who you've got in the 9 games tonight. It's tough to see some of these teams that are down and out already and say, well, they're done. But there are certain teams that I look at and say, well, they're probably done. Buffalo, Florida, to some extent Carolina, I'm already putting in that category of, well, looks like they're done. Obviously Arizona. And is Edmonton done? Because if the Islanders wipe Edmonton out tonight, let's say it's a 5-0 win for the Islanders, yeah, there's going to be a lot more vocal Oilers fans and media about making major changes to the Oilers if they play indifferent from here. So let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.